In 2006, SKL, then the Swedish National Laboratory of Forensic Science and now NFC, National Forensic Center, conducted a review of video recordings made of the wreck of the Estonia. The task was given to SKL following media speculation that videos from the wreck might have been manipulated. SKL was to determine whether the video material had been edited, manipulated, or otherwise altered. They were also to assess from the material if there had been any changes to the wreck that could have been caused by human influence. To carry out their task, SKL requested video material from several different authorities in both Sweden and Finland. They requested material from, among many, the Swedish Maritime Administration, the Navy, and the Finnish Central Criminal Police. The task was to be reported in early March 2008. As you know, the wreck was filmed in 1994 by Rockwater on behalf of the Swedish Maritime Administration and JAIC. Also, at the turn of the year 1995-1996, the wreck was filmed in preparation for the covering of the wreck. Those who filmed then were Nordic marine contractors on behalf of the Swedish Maritime Administration. The wreck was documented again later in 1996 by the Finnish Environment Center in connection with the oil removal. In the SKL report, which I attach a link to below, it is described how they gathered all the material. They were very thorough and wanted accompanying documentation for the videotapes. An authenticity assessment was made of all the material. The purpose of this was to determine whether the material was what it was claimed to be. The following terms were used in assessing the tapes. Raw material meant that the material was recorded during the investigation and not altered afterwards. Then the terms first and second generation copy were used. A first generation copy was a copy of raw material. A second generation copy was a copy of an existing copy. In the report you can read the assessments made of the different tapes. There were both tapes assessed to be raw material and copies. However, SKL encountered problems when requesting videotapes from the Swedish Maritime Administration. In Aftonbladet on November 22, 2006, the headline says as follows: "Estonia film mysteriously disappeared. Could have provided important answers, mysteriously gone from the archive." The text then describes how the videotape in question is no longer in the archives of the Swedish Maritime Administration. Johan Fransson, head of the Maritime Inspection, does not understand where it could have gone. It further states that the film that is missing was recorded at the turn of the year 1995-1996 and, as I said earlier, was taken in connection with the preparations for the covering of the wreck. The source of Aftonbladet's dramatic headline is an article in the newspaper Ny Teknik with the headline "Estonia film is gone." Ny Teknik writes that the film was taken by NMC, Nordic Marine Contractors. A copy should then have been given to Johan Fransson, but it is now gone. It should be remembered that about 10 years had passed between the film being handed over to the Swedish Maritime Administration and SKL wanting it. NY Teknik's article states that the purpose of the investigation was to assess how deeply Estonia had sunk into the bottom layer and that it was never intended to enter the wreck. Of course, it's never good when videos disappear, but what did the missing video show? Could it have provided important answers, as Aftonbladet wrote? It doesn't seem so. A description of the investigation is in the Report Engineering Field Report on Complementary Investigations. It was part of the Protection of the Estonia project. This report can be requested from the Swedish Maritime Administration. Point 3 in the report describes how the recording was done, what equipment was used, and the results. I summarize. The wreck was filmed with black and white cameras mounted on an ROV. The ROV hovered between 2 and 5 meters above the bottom. It weighed about 12 tons, so it kept a safe distance from the wreck to avoid colliding with it. The view from the cameras was limited due to poor visibility in the water. Among other things, the propellers, the bilge keel, the edge of the bow ramp, various windows, and the bridge wing were inspected. Nothing remarkable was seen except for a rope floating in the bow area and some objects on the bottom likely from the ship. That was it. So, nothing remarkable, and I would say that Aftonbladet's headline is unnecessarily dramatic. Yes, the tape is missing, and it shouldn't be, but the description of the recording and the results does not suggest that anything particularly significant was discovered. This is the only tape I am aware of that has not been found and is considered missing. If there are more tapes from similar investigations that have gone astray, I would like to hear more about it. In the description below, I include information about the sources. Most of the sources are in Swedish. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.